Never imagined that the spacious apartment he'd just spent his entire savings on was actually a crooked building thrown together by a developer who'd cut corners. All his son did was set a marble down on the floor, and it immediately rolled toward the balcony on its own. The moment tipped Jack off that something was seriously wrong with the building, so he quickly set the marble down again to test it. To his surprise, this time the marble stayed perfectly still. His wife thought he was overthinking it. There was no way a building could actually be crooked, right? At first, Jack figured he was being paranoid, but that night something bizarre happened. As a torrential downpour hit, the entire building mysteriously sank almost 4 inches. The residents, fast asleep, had no idea. But when Jack headed to work the next morning, he noticed something off. A deep crack had appeared right by the entrance to their unit. He distinctly remembered the ground being fine yesterday, so he immediately called building maintenance, but they didn't take it seriously. Jack was planning to rally the neighbors and sue the property management, but then something terrifying happened. Early that morning, Jack was jolted awake by violent shaking. When he looked out the window, he froze in shock. A massive crack had split the street wide open, and residents below were scrambling to escape in a panic. Jack thought an earthquake was hitting, but the next second, the building started plummeting. In the blink of an eye, the entire building had dropped into a pit over 300 feet deep. Thankfully, the building eventually wedged itself midway down. Right then, Jack's wife returned from grocery shopping. She never expected their brand new apartment would be underground. She assumed their son was with Jack, but when Jack opened his son's bedroom door, the boy was nowhere to be found. Before Jack could even process this, a car suddenly plummeted down and crashed right into their living room. Once he calmed down, Jack realized it was actually his coworker. As the car started sliding downward from momentum, Jack rushed to help, but the next second, Jack was stunned. Fortunately, the car wedged itself at the edge of the massive pit, barely saving his coworker's life. With the situation critical, the two quickly searched for other survivors in the building, then scrambled up to the roof to call for rescue. But in this 300-foot deep pit, there was absolutely no signal, so they could only shout frantically toward the opening, but after yelling for what felt like forever, there was no response. Thankfully, the rescue team arrived around then. They sent a few young crew members down to investigate, but the moment they entered the pit, rocks started falling continuously from above. Left with no choice, they deployed a drone instead, but the drone had barely descended halfway when it lost signal and dropped. Clearly, the pit was far deeper than they'd imagined. A survivor on the roof saw the drone fall and instantly realized the rescue team was up there, so he screamed toward the opening with everything he had. But the loud noise triggered a second drop. Losing their balance, they grabbed onto anything they could reach. But John, Jack's unlucky coworker, accidentally slid to the edge of the roof. To keep him from falling into the pit, a girl quickly tossed over a bundle of electrical wire for John to grab. They tried to pull John back up, but the next second, the weathered wire snapped. Luckily, at the critical moment, John managed to grab Jack's leg, barely saving himself. Even better, the drone suddenly regained signal and slowly flew back up to the opening. When the rescue team saw the footage from the drone, they immediately dropped supplies and a satellite phone into the pit. Only then could the people trapped in the pit finally contact their families. However, when Jack got his wife's call, he learned that their son hadn't gone grocery shopping with her after all. That meant Jack's son was still trapped somewhere in the building. This was Jack's only child. To rescue his trapped son, Jack risked the building collapsing at any moment and headed downstairs without hesitation.